Diet Doobie. Hey, if you can do me a favor, and if you're watching this video, why not subscribe? Just subscribe to the fucking channel, man, because we got videos coming for you. I make videos all the fucking time. And if you want to like it, if you like the shit, like it. It makes other people able to see the videos. It helps spread it. And if you really got a big fucking wiener, then you should share it on social media platforms. We got all the social media that you can follow.
And if you don't want Scully to cry.
Do you want Scully to...
She's not crying right now because you're watching this. But if you weren't watching, she'd be crying.
So, follow the podcast.
Follow the channel for all of our podcasts.
Exactly.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Doobies, fucking Doobies, drive-ins, and dabs. Episode Thanksgiving. 1 second.
Episode number Thanksgiving. Woo.
You know that meme?
Welcome.
You know that meme? Hey, can I copy your homework? Don't copy it too exact. You know the meme?
Yeah.
That's what this movie is. This movie is don't copy my homework too much, aka Thanksgiving should be called Scream Thanksgiving. This movie,
Yeah, I do see what you mean. First, I didn't know where you were going with that, but
directed by Eli Roth, who has directed some good movies. All of his movies kind of have the similar like childish. This movie is like. Would you say, what is it more? Would you say,
it was kind of.
1 second, just so everyone knows, we're talking about Thanksgiving 2023.
Correct.
Correct.
The movie is called Thanksgiving.
Boom. Image.
It came out around Thanksgiving.
Around
We saw
Thanksgiving.
it before Thanksgiving, but the movie's also called Thanksgiving.
Right. Shit.
Gross, stop burping.
Directed by Eli Roth, who directed the Cabin Fever movies. And recently the Green Inferno movie, which was like a gross out like horror movie. I would almost say Thanksgiving is like more borderline comedy.
Yeah, it really did have the vibes of like a horror comedy. But
like a horror comedy.
It really did.
A horror comedy without like a lot of like the comedy was kind of at the expense of bad people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, kind of just situations that are like kind of so ridiculous that they're laughable.
Right.
You know, like I'm sure we're going to get into it a little bit more in depth, but you know, like people getting trampled and like the people around them are just kind of like caricatures, like,
right.
Ah! You
right,
know,
yeah,
like,
definitely.
It was just, I think everybody was a caricature of a character as opposed to like.
Do you know what this movie reminded me a lot of? In a lot of ways. It reminded me of like an 80s horror movie.
It almost had a little bit of Evil Dead kind of feel to it, but like Evil Dead is good, so we can't really compare that much, but
like it's like, you know how like in 80s movies, like there's like gore scenes in 80s horror movies, but they usually cut away. Because
right, it's kind of the implication.
Right. This one is like an 80s horror movie, but if the camera was locked on the gore. Like, we're locked in on the gore. Okay, so.
Yeah. So let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
We?
Open this up. Ooh.
Okay, I want to adjust the camera 1 second.
Okay. We're good? Okay. Something a little actually kind of something kind of interesting about this Thanksgiving movie, and I guess something you might not know of, was the original thought for the Thanksgiving movie, or like the way how it started was originally Eli Roth created a parody trailer to go in between the Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez Grindhouse double feature films.
When did that come out?
2007.
Oh, okay. So it's been a while.
Yeah. So, like, there are parody one-for-one shots from his parody trailer, the Thanksgiving trailer.
And when he made that trailer, there wasn't the thought that it was gonna become a real movie.
No,
it was literally just a
but it
trailer.
is but it is the second one of those trailers that became a real movie because Machete started off as was a parody trailer for those movies as well as this Thanksgiving movie. So it's the second movie that has come from the parody trailers of this Grindhouse movie trailer, which is something interesting. And he directed the trailer for that movie. So
yeah, well, I haven't seen that trailer.
We'll take a look at it when we stop, and then we'll take a look.
Okay. Where are the animals at?
Why don't you go look for it really quick? Well, Brooke is gone. Something kind of interesting, and I don't know if it's like there's other movies that are like this, but the return of the TriStar logo, which is something that I remember seeing a whole fucking bunch growing up. It's that like Pegasus winged creature. You remember the beginning of the movie had the TriStar logo?
Yeah, I feel like I hadn't seen that in a while.
Since the 90s. The last movie I remember childhood movies that I love having the TriStar logo. I believe that The Mask was partially released by TriStar or something. It was like a lot of my childhood movies had that, like the winged Pegasus thing. So I'm like, they must have brought the company back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with TriStar.
Yeah.
Really.
Maybe they just haven't put anything out.
Or maybe nothing that we have seen.
Okay, so the big main crux in the beginning of the story is set by a riot that happens inside of a Kmart looking store.
Right. So like the actual movie starts, I remember, with a Thanksgiving dinner.
Right. Yeah.
At
a cop's house.
No, not the cop's house.
Oh no, he was a worker.
The owner or a worker at this local
Kmart looking store.
Kmart, Walmart type store.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like a local store. So like at this dinner, it's like the owner of the store who's made to be seemed, kind of like a skeezy kind of dude. His daughter is there, who's a big part of the story.
Right. Cop. There's a cop guy.
There's a cop guy, and the cop guy is friends with whose wife?
Some lady's wife.
One of their wives.
Yep.
There's some sort of twist going on there later. So there's a cop guy there. Who is that? That's a famous guy.
He's one second. I have it written down.
What's that guy's name?
His name is
from Grey's Anatomy.
Patrick Dempsey.
Yes.
I have that written down.
So he's the cop.
McSteamy.
Yes.
Patrick.
Is it McDreamy?
Is his name McDreamy or McSteamy? I don't know. I didn't watch that show.
I didn't either.
Well, neither one of us. But recognizable face.
Right.
So
then I think the guy, I don't know if he's hosting or if he's just there. I can't quite remember. But he gets called into work.
Right. He's like
he had the day off, but then
he had to go do Black Friday stuff.
Yes.
Right.
No, it was on Thanksgiving. So it was like, Black Friday on Thanksgiving.
Right.
And
Which was a thing that people were doing for a little while.
Yeah.
It's kind of fallen out of fashion again. But I'm sure when this was written originally, maybe it was more like prevalent.
Maybe before 2020.
Yeah.
Or something.
I could see this being in development hell since 2007 if I had to, you know what I mean? So we're shot inside of the
store.
The store.
We get
now,
to the store.
Right. And we have a group of teenagers coming to the store, right?
Right. So these teenagers, basically, this is the daughter of the owner.
Store owner.
The daughter of the store owner and her friends go over there. I don't exactly remember why. Oh, fucking stupid plot point, I'll just add here. Because I don't remember. One of the teenagers was like, I lost my headphones or I lost my cell phone.
Yeah.
I got to get a new one. And I'm like, you really have to do that on Black Friday?
No,
like
no one
Thanksgiving
would do
night? That seems stupid.
So,
so they get in because the daughter lets them in.
Let's explain these. Okay, this is our main group of friends. Blonde girl whose dad owns the business.
Was she blonde?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay.
Or no. Dad, maybe she's got brunette hair.
She's a brunette.
We'll show the picture of her. We got black boyfriend with long hair.
The long curly hair.
Yep, and he's like one of our red herring
He's
characters.
the original boyfriend.
Yep,
There's boyfriend 1 and boyfriend 2. This is boyfriend 1.
A little bit of a red herring. Sorry, we're gonna talk spoilers. You don't give a fuck about this movie. It's shitty anyway.
Yeah, don't go see it.
Yeah.
Don't waste your money on it.
We got long boyfriend here who like ends up being a bit of a red herring character. You think he's gonna be like one of the murderers. He's not. We got rich boyfriend with short hair.
And he's not the boyfriend at first.
No.
He's not the boyfriend till
he
later
becomes
on.
it.
At first, he's just like a friend.
We got black guy, which we thought would die earlier in the movie. Surprise!
Right. So good job.
Good job,
Eli Roth.
A little bit of a subversion, and we got
super meathead dude, right? Like the football player.
That's
the dude, the dumbass dude.
Yep. That
because there was something about how.
And then we have her other friend, Russian girl. I think she's Russian.
Yes, that was the blonde one.
Yeah, that's the blonde one.
Yes. No, you're right because it went to her like Russian mafia family later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these teenagers, they get in. Basically, the daughter of the owner was like used her privileges to get in through the employee break room. But there's also like a giant crowd of people outside the store like waiting to get in. And this is where I'm saying like these people are caricatures.
Yeah.
Like if you imagine like footage from like the 80s or something of like Tickle Me Elmo and like when I guess Black Friday was really in its heyday, like it was like that.
Yeah. It was like something it was like something out of another time is the best way to put it. It's not something of nowadays.
Right.
Like
they were all like aggressive and screaming and
what
packed
ends
up against the.
What ends up happening is the crowd of people see the teenagers inside of the building and they cause a giant
It's like
riot.
a riot. Yeah. They get mad that they get let in first.
Right. This is the most visceral scene of the movie.
It's intense.
This is intense. And honestly, it got me kind of excited for the rest of the movie because it's a riot. Like people's heads are getting crushed.
Yeah,
there's
like
people
they are literally like there's a guy who's at the door who's like waiting to open the door, because I think it's like 10 minutes before the store's supposed to open.
Right.
So some security guard again who does become a pivotal character. So put a pin in him.
Right.
The security guard guy.
Security guard guy.
So yeah, he was there, like about to open the doors, but then they, force the doors open and literally trample this dude.
Right.
And then also the big meathead dude is like up on one of the registers filming like on TikTok and shit.
Right.
TikTok Live is another big piece of this movie.
Yep. I think it's like TikTok, Instagram. It's like one of the.
I don't know, being live on social media.
So that happens. That's the beginning of the movie. And then we hard cut to a year later, right? Mm-hmm. Which is interesting.
Right. That is interesting.
Okay.
I will say the beginning of the movie was engaging. Like even though I was like, this is a little bit extra, we're suspending our belief a little bit, like I don't think people would really behave like this.
It's a bit of a farce.
Right.
You know
but it was entertaining. It was a little bit like the riot scene was a little like, ooh, like there were some scenes where like it was literally just a close up of a dude's head on the ground getting like stomped on.
Yeah.
So
those are the things that made me feel like it was like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, I guess it did kind of have that
vibe.
80s movie vibe the whole way through.
Right. So,
even though it wasn't set in the 80s, I'll say that.
No, it's set modern day. Hard cut to a year later. Lead girl whose dad owns the store is now dating a rich guy. Long-haired boyfriend has disappeared.
Ghosted her.
Right. He ghosted her. The friend group has stayed friends. I guess no one really got in trouble for the riot. I don't know.
It's that seems
odd.
It does seem odd. Like there was no like repercussions of any sort.
Anyone, it seems
right for anyone. Like it would have been interesting. Like you would think that like that guy's family would be pressing charges or something. You know, like, but
what do we?
Whatever.
Is it still recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's blinking.
So we get they all get a a mysterious, like they tagged in a photo.
Oh, yeah. So like this was like on Instagram. It made me feel like
Right.
Like they got tagged in a photo from a strange account on Instagram
That has all of their names on
like
little,
like a dinner table.
a dinner table.
You know, like a
spots.
formal, like
Reserved
a formal
spots,
dinner.
right? And apparently the crux of this movie is they all live in this little town where Thanksgiving is the biggest holiday, apparently.
Yeah. They got like a big old parade and like
everyone wears these like weird
Oh, who was that guy?
Thanksgiving masks.
So there like some little bit of history. I'm not a history person, so like some pilgrim dude.
Yeah, apparently.
Maybe the founder of something.
Who the fuck knows?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Any history buffs will probably know. Drop it in the comments.
It might not even be real. It's the thinnest veil of a reason why we can have a bunch of people walking around with the same mask on.
So it was
ostensively,
like
you know what I mean?
Some
So
pilgrim dude.
our very first kill is one of the ladies that Scully, I swear to Christ, you never do this shit.
Only when we're on live.
1 second, talking to your mic.
Only when we're on live.
So the first kill is some random lady who was in the riot.
Oh yeah, and she was kind of highlighted as like a big Karen.
Right,
like
right.
she was really at the head of the riot, like enticing, like yelling shit and
causing the riot to happen.
Right. She like works at a diner.
Right.
And the cops were just at the diner.
Right. So we got Thanksgiving man in his Thanksgiving costume,
like pilgrim outfit. Basically. So he's dressed like a pilgrim with like, it's almost like if you've seen V for Vendetta, it's like a V for Vendetta mask, but it's like a pilgrim dude instead.
Right. And for some reason, everybody in this town has this mask. Even though I've never seen this mask, I've never even heard of someone like putting on a mask for Thanksgiving.
Right.
But it's neither.
Like some sort of folklore, like this guy lived in our town in the 1818s. And
right.
I don't know. It's not important enough to the story. Like that part isn't. It just matters that the masks
There's
are
a bunch
around.
of people walking around with masks, right?
Right. Festivities are occurring. Again, you don't really see Thanksgiving festivities very often. Especially nowadays when you go into a store, like even before Thanksgiving, there's Christmas shit everywhere.
Right, yeah.
The week before Thanksgiving, I was trying to find candy corns, which I know that they're Halloween themed, but they're still kind of fall related.
Right.
And there was literally nothing fall related anywhere. It's
if
just
this town was real, right, everything would just be Christmas.
Right.
Because it would already be Christmas. By the time it's Thanksgiving, it's pretty much Christmas. Extensively.
Yeah, essentially. But anyway, with that being said,
so we get our first kill.
So Karen's dead.
No, this is what happens. He dunks her head in the water, into the pot to water, and then like sticks her face onto
the freezer door.
On the freezer door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way that would work. And then I think, does she get away? Does she get murdered? I think she gets murdered. It doesn't really matter.
I think she does get murdered.
She gets murdered. I'm sure it's very violent. I do like the idea of sticking someone's head into a sink and then sticking her face into a cooler. That's what she does. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
It was unique.
Scully, can you help her up on the couch with her little fucking bed, please?
Yes. Okay, come on.
The dog is being a pain in the ass. She also wants...
Put this on your side. I don't have enough room over here.
Come over here.
Go get it. And we're back.
Okay, so this is the part. This is like the beginning of the movie wasn't very Scream, but this is where it starts getting screamy.
Okay.
Because like he starts taking the bodies of the people he kills and then putting it like
at the table.
At the table.
So like that Instagram post that he tagged everybody in, that was an empty table with just name tags on it. Now like one of the places has a body at it.
Right.
It's a dead body.
Right.
But
this is, and that starts off the worry of the people with their name tags there. So the second kill, we get Tim Dillon, who is a podcaster He made his way. He made his way into the
I
movie.
forgot about that dude.
He played a security guard that runs away cowardice.
At the during the riot.
During the riot
Yeah,
part.
I forgot about that one.
Played by Tim Dillon, who is not a great actor.
I've never heard of that guy. So
he's like a comedian and like a podcast. He's really popular in the like. I wouldn't even say conservative. It's like weird pseudo like manosphere type shit. He's like funny. He's a funny guy.
Okay.
He did not play very well in this movie, and he had a pretty forgettable death. I don't remember.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I really don't remember.
There's so many deaths in this movie
that
it becomes a little
like I remember the death at the diner.
Yep.
But I vaguely remember the other security guard.
Right.
But I don't really remember.
So we get
what happened.
We get Tim Dillon.
How long ago did we see this? A week ago?
Yeah.
Okay. We watched this a week ago. Exactly.
It's forgettable.
Yeah, now this is where I'm kind of getting fuzzy on exactly what happened because
the sad thing is
20 minutes is
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
All right.
Again, we're back.
Ostensibly, it's going to be pointless for us to like scene by scene.
Right, yeah, we're not going to explain everything.
Like explain everything. Let's play a game though. We saw this a week ago, right?
Right.
Do you remember the deaths? That's the only thing that really matters in a movie like this. So okay, we got one. We got the lady who gets her face stuck to the wall and then stabbed.
Right.
We get Tim Dillon. The only reason I remember this, he doesn't have a memorable death, but I do remember that the killer doesn't kill the cat. That's the only thing I remember.
He feeds the cat.
He feeds the cat.
I do remember that.
Which is like a weird little like side scene.
Right.
Okay. Do you remember any of the other deaths? There's one that I remember. Oh, okay. There's a couple.
I remember.
I remember the lady that gets put in the oven.
Yes. Yep. The lady that gets put in the oven.
One of the Karen.
It's like a long, like she's laying down.
In the world's largest fucking oven.
Right. Like that's a
like
large,
a pizza oven they put her in.
Yes. Like and it's like, yeah, it's very long. Long enough for a human to lay down in.
That scene is hilarious. I do remember also that like when he like stabs like one of the like turkey, like what to test if a turkey's done or not.
You'd like the thermometer?
He stabs like a meat thermometer into her before he like puts her in the oven, and then she's alive, and then she gets burned alive. And I remember the meat thermometer thing popping. I'm like, that's a funny little touch, like a little comedy touch.
Yeah, little bits of those comedy in there.
Maybe a little too many. I mean, his comedy style works more in like an 80s homage movie than it did in like, because he did like a Cannibal Holocaust remake, like Cannibal Holocaust like homage, which was Green Inferno, and the comedy did not work in that.
Yeah.
But it kind of works in this like 80s style a little bit more. Another one, which is in the original one, which is the trampoline scene.
Well, I think I need to watch this other trailer.
Oh, do you want to watch it really quick?
Sure.
Okay, let's take a break really quick.
Okay, pause. Because I don't know if I can actually remember any.
Trailer. We just watched the parody trailer for the original idea for Thanksgiving. It did remind us of one of the kills that's in the movie.
It reminded me of a couple of them.
Okay.
Actually.
One of them was in this scene in the movie is so off-putting. It's so not like everything else. So like one of the killer some lady jumps on a trampoline and like takes her titties out.
They're like by themselves in the school, like no one else is around, you know.
Yeah. And she's jumping around, and he kills the boyfriend who's like watching her jump around with her titties out and her ass out, and then he goes underneath the trampoline and like stabs her through the trampoline.
So if you can imagine, these are her legs. This is the knife.
Yeah. In her downstairs.
In her vajayjay.
Yeah. Which is it's a scene from the original trailer, and I'm sure like he was probably like, oh, that part's awesome.
That's just a cool kill. We got to put that in.
Yeah, we got to put it in the movie because
I will say that I feel like after watching that trailer now, that one had much more of like an 80s feel to it.
Oh, definitely.
And I feel like if they leaned into that a little bit more,
it would have been more enjoyable.
It would have been a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like watching that scene where that girl's jumping up and down, she's like in a cheerleader outfit.
Yeah.
It's kind of more just like a trope, of like stupid girly cheerleader
right.
and, gets killed.
It honestly, it is like kind of, I think Eli Roth should have gone with his original vision and made it a 70s homage because it would have, but then you can't do the phone thing. I'm sure like it's just a byproduct of lazy writing is the reason why.
Siri just gave us information about Thanksgiving, the film.
Oh, thanks, Siri.
Thank you.
That'd be funny if she was like, I have some opinions about this.
Actually, that was meant to.
Right. So let's.
It also, one of the kills that reminded me of was, first off, something important to mention that I think would have brought some context. This is set in Plymouth Rock. What is that? Plymouth Maryland?
Yeah.
Wherever the fuck that is. Again, not a science. That's not science.
I'm
a fucking idiot, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Thanksgiving's so important.
Yeah.
But anyway, they have this big parade, right? And then the guy that's in the turkey costume that's out there gets his head chopped off.
Yeah.
That part was also in the movie.
Oh, I guess I didn't even remember that. That's the problem. Okay, this is I guess kind of a problem with this movie. Maybe they could have worked around it if they made it a little bit more campy, but you don't like any of the character. I don't like any of the characters.
No, I did not root for any of them.
Nope, I had
because so first off, all of her friends are like assholes.
Yep.
Like none of them are likable. They all do things that are just like repulsive. Like at the beginning when they're going into to the store, like they just all seem like little shitheads.
Oh, they're taunting people.
Yeah, they're taunting people. They're like saying like, "Oh, I don't fucking give a shit," like.
And it would be fine. Then you have to make the killer more of a dynamic character because it's just a bunch of kills of people that you don't care if they live or die.
Right.
Like that's something that makes a horror movie good is when you're like, oh, I hope this person can make it. I hope this person is successful in overcoming whatever's happening. This movie is just like blind violence and it's the funny thing is you would think in a movie so gory and so violent, eventually you'd be like, you just become overstimulated and you just stop paying attention almost.
Right.
That's what happened to me. Because I didn't even care to find out the mystery of who the Thanksgiving guy is. Because I'm like, it's someone dumb.
Right. Yeah.
And it's going to be some twist. And spoiler alert, it is the dumbest twist. It's a cop who's the killer.
Yeah, it's the cop who's the killer. What's his name? Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey, which it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the story. It doesn't.
They tried to make it make sense, but it was just kind of like it wasn't like oh my god. It was like
Do you know what it was? It was like a Scooby-Doo old man.
They pulled the
Smithers.
mask off. Yeah,
right. You know what I mean?
And I could have got away with it too.
If it wasn't for you damn horrible children that no one likes. But
they tried to make the main girl, I feel like,
likable.
kind of likable, but I don't think they did a good job.
No.
Because, she let them all in that first night, which, of course, started the riot and got multiple people killed. Mm-hmm. So, of course, she should be feeling guilty about that.
Right.
First off, which I think she kind of does, but I think there should have been a little bit more. Again, which is why you feel like you don't like them because none of them show any remorse.
Nobody
seemingly.
learns anything.
Nobody learns anything. Nobody's like, oh my God, these people died. I went through a very traumatic experience. I literally witnessed people get trampled to death in front of me. But anyway, that's beside the point also.
So you're sitting on the cord. You're making Mama's cord go out.
Oh, she wants to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it.
New York, New York.
But what I really wanted to say was one thing that comes out later in the movie is that that main girl erases all of the security footage from the store of that night because she didn't want to get in trouble for getting in early.
Which, it's so dumb.
Which then it's like, when the police are trying to investigate, they're like, if only we have the security footage to know who all was there and what exactly happened.
Right.
And
I will say, I think just overall, my general message about this movie, and we probably just we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
Because I don't have anything else to say about it because it.
What is this person doesn't even have a place they're calling from. They can leave me a message. It's probably a fax machine again.
Probably. It wasn't. This is my biggest complaint. It wasn't fun.
No.
I just wanted to have fun.
Like, if it's gonna be like a kind of horror comedy, there has to be fun.
It just felt.
Even if
it felt in bad taste.
Horror, yeah.
It wasn't fun. I don't know how the fuck this movie has a 7 out of 10 rating. It makes no sense to me. It's not even original. It's not. There's no aspect of it that's original, which is fine. You don't have to be original. You just have to be entertaining. And if we're just being honest, it wasn't that fucking entertaining. It just wasn't entertaining. I didn't like the characters. I didn't
like a lot of the dialogue either.
The dialogue is horrible. Everyone sounds like a teenage boy wrote them. Like, if every character was played by a teenage boy, this movie would make perfect sense. But everyone's like,
there's like some, like kind of stupid one-liney zingers where they were like, "Oh, that's clever," but then, but then it's just kind of like, it really just falls flat. Like, watching the original trailer reminded me of at the end when the cop killer is like, "No leftovers."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Which is it's
like it's cheesy. But again, if you really, I think, leaned into the cheese and just kind of made it campy like the original trailer, I wouldn't hate it as much.
I wouldn't have hated it as much either. And I think I would have had a funner time. And honestly, I went into that movie knowing that Eli Roth is kind of like teenage boy fun and with violence in it, which is fine.
I didn't know anything going into this.
I thought the style would work with like an 80s homage slasher movie, but they didn't go. I don't want to see a movie of people like staring at their cell phones like, "Did you see this on Instagram?"
Yeah.
I'm like, that's my real life. Find an interesting way to tell your story.
Yeah.
That's not like,
and I mean, it could be interesting. Like, using social media and stuff can be interesting. It just wasn't in this movie.
It doesn't seem like it
didn't
matched
really
with
further the plot.
It didn't seem to match the movie itself.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean?
It really didn't. I mean, I guess it furthered the plot in the sense that that's how all the characters knew that the killer was coming for them because of the Instagram posts.
Make it a mystery. It's a surprise. You know what I mean? I don't like it all to be told.
It did
me.
make it a little bit easy to figure out, like if people, because again, I don't know if we flat out said this, but if you haven't figured it out, everybody who's dying in the movie was related to
the riot
that night
itself. Yeah.
So if there wasn't like those weird Instagram posts and stuff and people were just dying mysteriously, that would be more mysterious. I just think overall, this was not for me. I know this is the second movie that we've come out of having kind of a negative opinion, and maybe it's because we just... I haven't been on this podcast in a while, so...
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like Saw X. I didn't.
Oh, you didn't really like that one either?
I didn't like Saw X either. I feel bad giving things bad reviews, and I thought maybe this would be good, and I was like kind of holding out hope. I mean, here's to the next one, I guess, but no.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this is confirmed or not yet, but we did discuss the possibility of this weekend going to the drive-in to see not a new movie, but Gremlins and Krampus.
So possibly down your...
Our local drive-in is
put that in your
open
pipe
for the winter.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That might be in your pipe.
So maybe we'll do that next, and I imagine... I mean, I like Gremlins. I've seen that before.
Yeah,
I've never seen Krampus.
Krampus is sick.
So...
Okay, let's do one little thing. I'm going to put this in the beginning of the video.
Okay. Rewind.